Hey everybody, it's GoblinX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing another Powered Cube draft, drafting some of the strongest and most iconic cards from the history of Magic the Gathering. Let's just get into things with a pack one pick one that I'm very excited about. I really love artifact decks and artifact strategies in general, and the Powered Cube gives you some really fun options for those kind of decks, like Tolarian Academy, adding blue for each artifact you control. Classic, iconic, ridiculously powerful land that taps for way too much mana off of just a single land. We'll take the Tolarian Academy here and hope that some artifact good stuff is open. If the Academy were not in the pack, what is my cup of tea out of this pack? I do like the Badger Mole Cub. It works really well with all of the one mana dorks out of green, and it works really well with like Strip Mine and Wasteland. You get to Earthbend one of those and then reanimate it immediately, which is really rude. So I think Badger Mole Cub has a lot of good stuff it can do in the cube, but it's certainly nowhere near as cool as Tolarian Academy to me. Pick number 2, another great pack as always in the cube. I think that Mana Drain is probably the safest pick after Pack 1 Pick 1 Tolarian Academy because this is going to be an absurd counterspell in any blue deck no matter how things go. So even if there aren't a lot of artifacts getting past and we get cut off of that, we can just play this in a blue deck in general. But if there are tons of artifacts, this will still be a great card for a blue-based artifact deck. So I think Mana Drain's the safest pick, but there are two other cards that can both be really strong in the artifact build. The Candelabra of Thanos, obviously untapping the Tolarian Academy is pretty huge, but that's kind of the deck that even really cares about it that much, so I expect it to wheel, hopefully. And then same with, like, Upheaval. The only way to really use it is to play a bunch of Mana Acceleration, a bunch of Mana Rocks, get way more mana than your opponent, so you could tap out for, like, 12 mana, bounce everything back to hand, then recast all your Mana Rocks in one turn. So it's a little bit more narrow than the Mana Drain, or quite a bit more narrow. Pick number 3 now. Uro's really good for just green-blue value. Obviously, that's not a good Tolarian Academy artifact deck kind of card, but we could take Chrome Mox for a Tolarian Academy deck, and it would be fine. We do have to exile a non-artifact, non-land card from our hand to get the mana out of this. So it's one of the weakest Moxes. I even like the Diamond Mox better than this, the Mox Diamond, where you discard a land to play it. This, like, you have to lose an actual spell, and it has to be a non-artifact colored spell, so you could open some hands where the Chrome Mox is awkward to play. It's probably still the pick, though. I mean, 0 mana artifacts with Tolarian Academy are just so busted. I'll take the Chrome Mox here. I could see a pretty good argument for, like, Uro, though, as the alternate blue-green stuff with a Mana Drain and an Uro for now. Pick number 4, we do not see anything great for an artifact deck. We see a fine controlling card with a Tidebinder. We see a fun combo card with Echo of Eons, and a very fun, like, target for cheating into play. The Atraxa is great to reanimate or sneak attack or show and tell or flash or natural order. You can cheat Atraxa out with almost all of the cards that are about cheating things into play, so Atraxa is one of my favorites cards to take early, just so that I am open to all of those different sneak attack style strategies. Trinket Mage is really good in an artifact deck if you open a really good artifact to go with it. So most of the time, that means you have to pull something great like a Mox or a Soul Ring. So sometimes the Trinket Mage isn't that good, but when you do pull a Mox or a Soul Ring or something, the Trinket Mage is pretty excellent. So I don't mind the Trinket Mage here. There's also a Reanimator spell if we want to go down that Atraxa path, but that's going to be hard to convince me to do with this Tolarian Academy sitting here when I see an artifact card or an artifact adjacent card like that. We can also just start with two really massive threats, Atraxa and World Spine Worm. The awkward part about World Spine Worm, though, is it's much more narrow than Atraxa in that it can't be in any of the Reanimator decks. You can't reanimate the World Spine Worm, but you can natural order it, you can flash it, you can sneak attack it. Still a lot of great ways to use that World Spine Worm, but I'm going to be on that Trinket Mage. And then here's an easy Talisman of Progress. The blue talismans in particular are the best ones to grab, but any talismans are nice. Karn is also pretty sweet in artifact decks, that -2 ability. Then just keep plussing for some card draw. I do really feel the cheap mana rocks are some of the best artifacts to make sure you have a lot of in your deck because they enable a lot of stuff. They make sure you have a lot of artifacts sitting on the board for your Tolarian Academy, and they also enable a card that I didn't think I was going to end up seeing here, Mishra's Workshop. Making sure that you have plenty of like 3 mana or less artifacts, so you just like play Workshop, immediately get a mana rock down turn 1 is huge too. And Workshop, Tolarian Academy, the Talisman, these all work excellently in the same kind of deck, so we can take that here. There was 100% another strategy in this draft pod, though. We could have taken Atraxa and World Spineworm and Torsten, and then we have 3 cards that are all excellent with Flash, excellent with Sneak Attack, excellent with Natural Order. It would be a bit risky to have all those like great finishers and have none of those ways to cheat them into play. But then if we pulled any of the different ways to cheat them into play, they were all good with those cards. So that would have been interesting too. I'm going to take Triplicate Titan here in case we get a Tinker that lets us sacrifice a cheap artifact to pull out our best artifact from deck, put it into play. Obviously, the Triplicate Titan is massive for a card like that. Tezzeret's a good one. The better your cheap artifacts are, the better Tezzeret is. So another card you really want to open Moxes and Soul Rings if you're lucky. We did wheel the Upheaval and the Candelabra. We have Tolarian Academy and Mishra's Workshop to untap to the Candelabra, which is fun. Workshop isn't perfect with Candelabra because it doesn't give us mana for artifact abilities. So we can't spend it on the X, but still really good. I feel like Academy plus Workshop makes Candelabra more fun, but Upheaval is just, it's like such a finisher when you have the ramp and the talismans for it. I'm a little sad those ended up being in the same pack, so we couldn't get both of them. I mean, if I passed Mana Drain, I guess I could have gotten both of them. That does not seem worth it, though. Especially because if we're running a bunch of mana rocks and a bunch of colorless spells, that means Mana Drain's just going to be awesome in this deck. Even if we Mana Drain a 2-drop or a 3-drop, okay, that's a free talisman next turn. Nothing else for the rest of pack 1 here. We're just kind of waiting to open pack 2 and cross our fingers, hope for a great mana rock or a tinker. Those would be the biggest pickups. We did get a great mana rock. Yeah, there's a couple excellent options out of this pack. I think we have to just take the Mana Crypt, though. I mean, 0 mana, get double mana every single turn. You do lose a lot of life to this card over the course of a long game, but it gives you so much mana so fast, it'll often end up allowing you to end the game well before that damage kills you. Like if you're just turn 1 Tezzeret, that would be like a turn 2 Triplicate Titan potentially, right? 2 lands. It'd be 6 mana turn 2, because you could tap the crypt, untap the crypt, tap the crypt, tap your 2 lands. Yeah, you could just do such explosive things with Mana Crypt that we kind of have to take it here. But the other card that I'm pretty interested in is the Coveted Jewel. That's a really good top-end mana rock. You draw 3 and you tap it for triple mana, and there's some fun combos with it. Anything that untaps it, anything that puts it back in your hand, anything that flickers it. It's a card I like a lot too. Okay, pack 2, pick 2. Grim Monolith is all right. You do have to spend a bunch of mana to untap it, so it's not like perfect. But it is really good with Tezzeret, because Tezzeret can untap your artifacts as a 0 ability. And it's also pretty good with Mana Crypt. Turn 1, Mana Crypt, Grim Monolith, pass. Next turn you have 7+ mana. Yeah, I think we take the Grim Monolith. We just get real explosive with it. It's good with Upheaval too. Pick number 3. All right, now we take Gataxian Probe or Consider. I feel like Surveil 1, draw 1 is worth spending a mana instead of life. And Probe is obviously cheaper, but Consider's digs farther. It's instant speed, too. Yeah, I think we go consider. Got him. Oops. There we go. Got him. Eugene, Eye of the Storms, an excellent card to dump your absurd amount of mana into. And then every time we cast another artifact, every time we cast another colorless spell, we're exiling their best permanent each time. Turn them all into removal. Beautiful pickup. We were definitely looking for a little bit more big top end stuff to use all this early mana on. It's not good with Mishra's Workshop, but the Workshop plays the mana rocks that play the Ugin. Oops, get out of the sideboard, Ugin. What are you doing? You can't hide from me. Our Trinket Mage did get incredible, by the way. It did become excellent. Trinket Mage plus Mana Crypt is definitely worth it. Coalition Relic's a fine one. You can play it turn 1 off of Workshop, and it adds 2 mana every once in a while. It's always at least that 1 blue mana, but you can put a charge counter on it to get a surge in mana the next turn, where you get 2 mana out of it instead of just the 1 on that turn. So Coalition Relic with the Workshop is good. A Memory Jar? Probably not, right? Everybody draws a fresh new hand. Beginning of the next end step, each player discards their hand and returns the original cards. I guess it's kind of like you're the only one that gets the hand if they don't have instants. It's probably like better than Wheel of Fortune or something, but I don't know. I know for sure that Coalition Relic off of Mishra's Workshop is a really good start, so I'm just going to take that. Pick 6, Mere Battlesphere is fine. At this point, we have enough mana rocks to just be hard casting this in the late game. But then again, if we get a Tinker or something, it'll be good. Pick 7, grab a Mystic Confluence. Huge interaction. Jace is some good card selection, and Brazen Borrower is also good cheap interaction. I like the big counterspell. Pentad Prism is not that good when we're going to play probably just islands and a bunch of colorless sources. So I think Bankbuster's better. Bowmasters is a really strong card, though. Is it worth splashing Bowmasters? Bowmasters is pretty absurd. And then if we get any of the cards that make each player draw, it could be crazy. I feel like I should just take Bankbuster. That's the safe pick. But Bowmasters is a fun one. We get some blue-black fixing. Did get a Coveted Jewel. This is another one that's pretty absurd to play off of a Workshop early, although there's some risk to this one because your opponent can hit you and steal it back. Or not really steal it back, just steal it, period, from you. Nobody wants to draft black. Okay, pack 3. We have a Mox Diamond, a Kappa Cannoneer. Those are about it. We have the Tolarian Academy and the Mishra's Workshop. We have the Tezzerets. Do we have enough of the artifact cards that we think Kappa Cannoneer is going to wheel? I feel like it should wheel. I don't think anybody else should be trying to do artifacts as much as we are. I think Kappa Cannoneer is a little bit better than Mox Diamond in this deck, but I think it's far more likely to wheel. So I'm going to go Mox Diamond. Nexus of Becoming's a fine finisher. It's going to turn all of our cheap mana rocks into actual threats later in the game. If we top deck like a Mox, it's a dead draw later, but now we turn into a 3/3 at least. Another good card to ramp out early with Mishra's Workshop. Our Chrome Mox, like I was saying, is looking very awkward. We have like 5 blue spells. I'm going to take this Flash. Flash works with Triplicate Titan. Flash very moderately works with Mere Battlesphere, and I'm just shoving Atraxa in here and praying we draw Flash Atraxa at the right time. That is funny that we did end up seeing the Flash after we saw like every Flash target in pack 1. We saw Atraxa and World Spine Worm and Torsten. Those are like the best Flash targets. Crazy. Wow, this pack does not have anything. But I guess it's possible I casted Atraxa off a Coalition Relic once in a blue moon. Probably not, though. Guess I take a Xander's Lounge over a Beaumont Courier. Maybe get a couple random Triomes towards Atraxa with Coalition Relic or random Talismans and Loungers. Nettle Cyst here, right? Urza's Bauble's a good one, too. Take the Nettle Cyst, though. We've got a high enough artifact count to just be putting a bunch on the board. Flood Pit's Drowner is some interaction. Or we can take more random Atraxa fixing. If it's another piece of black fixing, then I could like throw a Go for the Throat in here too, I guess. Let's just play the Drowner. We do want more colored spells as well, so Chrome Mox is not always a dead draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 colored spells. Okay. Smuggly Copty. We're really bad at crewing this. Should I just take Malcolm over it? I mean, I'm bad at crewing it, but it's an artifact, which is nice. I probably should take Malcolm over it and get a 9th colored spell. This is my 23 non-land cards now. Although, one of them is Mana Crypts. There's a couple Moxes too, so I can cut a land if we find more good spells. Take a Preordain, cut a land. Perfection. We wield the Kappa Cannoneer. Throw in the green, blue, black Triome. What am I cutting for this Kappa Cannoneer? Because I don't think... Does this deck want a Mystical Tutor? Mystical Tutor into the Flash if I have an Atraxa stuck in my hand? I don't think so. I'm going to go down a card to play it. Just need to be really relying on the combo for that. I'm just going to grab the Sewers. Tamio or Courier? I don't think I'm playing either of them.
You would make an excellent informant for my study.
Okay. Let's cut one card. Set them on 16 lands. I don't know, maybe I can be on 15 lands, but you have to think about the fact that the a couple things. Mana Crypt 100%, I could cut like a land for a Mana Crypt, but Chrome Mox and Mox Diamond both cost me an additional card to get the mana. So Mox Diamond, I have to discard another land, and then it counts as a land, so this still wants a higher land count. Chrome Mox, I guess I'm discarding a non-land to use this as a land. So that sort of could count as a land, but Mishra's Workshop does not count as a land for a third of our cards. So there's that to consider as well. So why am I on 4 planes? Whoa, what is this mana base right now? It's for sure like this. None of my lands are randomly a white source, but Mox Diamond is, Coalition Relic is, Coveted Jewel is. Again, probably never playing Atraxa. So maybe I should just not even run these tapped lands. But they're surveilling for me as well. I could definitely play Willow Rush Verge. This is literally just an island at worst. Certainly can play that. And then the Triomes can cycle in the late game at least, so I feel like that's okay. Maybe I don't play like the Cottage and the Sewers and the Tar Pit, though. But these even have relevant abilities later, being able to turn into creatures. I don't know, I think I want less tap lands if possible, so let's cut all those. So this would be the 15 land plus these mana rocks version. Might be fine. Yeah, you know what? I'll go for it. 15 land, triple mana rock. Couple 2 mana rocks too. All right, we'll call it a deck here. Get ready to play with some fun artifact nonsense, hop into the gameplay, and hopefully this one takes us pretty far, just so we can play a lot of games with some artifact nonsense. Lord have mercy. That's an opening hand. We're on the draw if I get turn 1 thought seized. Okay. Noble Hierarch. Here we go. Do 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 do. And that's the turn 2 Nexus of Becoming.
All too easy.
Mono green from our opponent. Noble Hierarch and a Bossing Say are what they have for now. So they've got a little bit of ramp of their own, and they play an Uro off of it. So they're green-blue. Play a Shifting Woodland for the extra land there, and a Delighted Halfling, so a lot of ramp. Oof. Mana Crypt Lightning bolts us in the face. What 1 mana artifact, 1 or 0 mana artifact could I grab here? Grab a Mox Diamond. Worth grabbing a Mox Diamond instead of just untapping here? Because I already have the Nexus of Becoming mana. I think because I already have Nexus mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, if I grab Mox Diamond, I can still play Nexus and have the Mox out too, instead of untapping and having 1 less permanent in the long run. Although Tezzeret would be at higher loyalty, so there is that.
There is no system I can't improve.
That's probably worth making a 1 less power and toughness version.
I expect success.
We make a 3/3 token Kappa Cannoneer, which is immediately a 4/4 because it gets its +1/+1 counter. It's a Golos from our opponent. They find a Strip Mine. We find a Willow Rush Verge. Grab another 1 mana or less artifact out of the deck. What are our options? Chrome Mox, and that's it at this point. So we don't do that. We're just gonna untap the Cannoneer, put a +1/+1 counter on it, I guess. It's kind of awkward because that means it doesn't attack through the Golos. But maybe they won't block. Oh, I guess it will because this is an artifact. Tokens are always artifacts. Perfect then.
I am in charge here. Work harder.
Ice Till Explorer plus Strip Mine can clear out all of our lands because Ice Till lets them play an extra land every turn, and Ice Till lets them play lands from their graveyard. So Ice Till Explorer Strip Mine is gross, but we're kind of the perfect deck against it in that we have so much artifact mana that unless they blow up all our artifacts, we'll still be okay. But that is a disgusting 2-card combo. One of the better reasons to be playing green. Oof, get lightning bolted by the crypt again. Mystic Confluence, you're too late. Well, actually, no. If I play this land, I've got Confluence mana. Bounce, Golos, Ice Till Explorer, and a Mana Dork. Certainly. All right. They scooped them up. They are over it. Nexus of Becoming plus Tezzeret definitely going to clear out this game. Going to finish this up, and we are 1-0 heading into game number 2. All right, here we are for game 2. I will keep this. We are on the play. This is a much slower hand, which will probably be the case for every other game. That was a ridiculous hand, game 1. But we have turn 3 Tezzeret into the Mana Crypt here, and we have really good top-end spells to be ramping up towards.
I will seize my new future. Even the smallest trinket has its use.
I'm not casting anything off of the crypt this turn, so I think it's actually better to not play it so that I don't take 3 damage, unless they're going to like Inquisition of Kozilek me. They are a black deck. Maybe I'm supposed to just bite that bullet, take the 3 damage, and run it out immediately. Play around hand disruption. Okay. Two, 3, 4, 5, untap, 6, 7.
Make yourself useful.
I can Ugin the Preacher or I can Nexus. I think I'm Ugining the Preacher. And I don't see how they recover from this start.
And the mass power belongs if my intervention is required. My plan bears fruit.
Tezzeret Mana Crypt is so gnarly that he tutors out the crypt and untaps the crypt to have a bajillion mana so early. Same with Soul Ring. That's another great one for Tezzeret. Moxes are still good with Tezzeret, but it's really the double colorless producers that are absurd. Ninjutsu to kill Tezzeret. Fair enough.
This is where things that you didn't.
Does Kaito have hexproof
My eyes are as sharp as my
during my turn as well, or just during theirs? Ouch. Just during theirs. So Ugin can kill Kaito off of just casting this Nexus.
I'm really not used to losing.
See what we draw off of Nexus before I choose what I'm doing with Ugin. Oh. This enters? Yep. Doesn't care if it was cast or not. Let's draw.
Focus, breathe, and learn.
Sheoldrick's Edict my Ugin. It's very sad. Scry 2, draw 1. Mystic Confluence will do it, right? I think I want to draw both these cards, though. I draw Confluence right now, and then I cheat the Triplicate Titan out with the Nexus. Okay, there's the concession from my opponent. Like, if I get the Baleful Strix out of the way, they're already dead to the Battle Sphere's ability. So I'm just trying to draw the bounce spell to clear out the Strix, which we did with Mystic Confluence. Bounce the Strix back to hand, and we're good. All right, that is 2-0 heading into game 3. All right, here we are on the draw for game 3. This is essentially a 6-card 2-land hand because that's how Mox Diamond works. But it's definitely a keep. Flip. These are both flash, right? Yes, they are. Cool. Run it out, flash in a 2-drop, play Tezzeret on 3. Play Malcolm to set up our card selection. Draw and discard every turn. There's an Upheaval. Upheaval Mox Diamond is maybe a tiny bit awkward. But, I mean, Tezzeret's grabbing the Crypt, so. Discard Floodpit's Drowner here, maybe. Draw Nettle Cyst. Okay, this doesn't care what I discard. Yeah, I think I discard Floodpit's Drowner. I'm going to keep that Upheaval. And I'm going to keep the artifacts. Especially Bankbuster, because we'll be casting that here. Off of the Crypt.
Just what I needed.
Yeah, and then I've just got a million artifacts for the Nettle Cyst, so obviously that is good too.
Success. Soon you will grovel.
So how would an Upheaval here work? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So I could Upheaval with a mana floating, playing no lands, play a land, play a Mox Diamond, play a Mana Crypt. I think I could replay everything. They've got a Soul Ring. They've got a Soul Ring post-Upheaval. That makes it not completely absurd, but I think still absolutely worth it, right?
Obey me. You're inferior in every possible way. There is no system I can't improve. Even these strange metals answer to me.
I don't know if I even did this turn right, but
I am in charge here.
I enjoyed it.
All too easy.
I don't think I need the imprint. Might have been better to just like untap the Crypt and play the Nettle Cyst for now and hold on to Bankbuster for later rather than grabbing Chrome Mox. Oh god, they had a Grim Monolith too? It's a pretty successful post-Upheaval hand then.
Soon you will grovel.
Crew 3. Land, ditch those, draw one off this preordain. Eugene, hello. I have nothing else to tutor for with Tez, so this is an untap. Of Mana Crypt to draw one more Bankbuster card.
I am.
Or to flash into Malcolm. There's Vivi. Looks like it for the turn, so we'll exile Vivi with Ugin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we've got exactly enough mana, so I could flash in Malcolm. I don't need to draw any more lands. I do anyway, just in case.
Make yourself useful.
Preparation.
Draw a card. Find a flash.
My plan bears fruit.
I don't think I need to defend these at this point, so I'm just going to send in rather than holding up a blocker here. Find a Triplicate Titan. That is awkward to have Flash and Triplicate Titan and have to discard one of the two. Slightly sad. As long as one of these two Planeswalkers is still around, we can cast Triplicate Titan next turn. Okay. There's the concession from our opponent. I actually don't know for sure the math on that. We're very close to casting it with one of these two. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If we get the 3 mana off of Ugin, we're 1 mana off of casting it with Tezzeret. So if we top deck a land, then we could cast Triplicate Titan off of either of these. All right. This deck has been drawing really, really well to start off. We have just been getting all of our fast mana into big artifact combos going. That is exactly what I was hoping for when I drafted this deck, and it has been very fun and very smooth sailing so far. That is 3-0 heading into game 4. All right, this is definitely our slowest hand so far. We are on the play. There are just regular mana rocks towards the Triplicate Titan. I think that's still certainly a keep. It's just not a busted hand like the first 3. Hello, Atraxa. Funnily enough, if any hand could actually cast Atraxa, it is the one with Coalition Relic and Coveted Jewel. What if I hardcast an Atraxa? Turn 4? Is that possible? I can get 2 different colors of mana out of this. A third color out of this. Yeah, I can get green, white, black, blue off of everything else. Oh, come on. Portable hold my mana rock. That is really bad, actually. At least they only have 3 cards left. Oh, we draw the 3-drop now that they portable hold the mana rock. And that would have gotten the mana crypt. Oh, that hurts. Just imagining the beautiful turn that would have been if that mana rock were still around. It actually wouldn't have been that crazy. We had the 3 mana, so we would then go Trinket Mage into Mana Crypt, but there's nothing to play with the Mana Crypt immediately. It's just very good for the future. Ice Till Explorer plus Fetch Land is a bajillion lands. They milled Strip Mine off the top. Off of RNGesus. I mean, we're cooked. I don't know what to say. Our lands are gone. I'm surprised they didn't strip mine one of our lands there because we missed our third land drop. It's not going to matter. They could just strip mine them now. Ah. Well, that's rough. I think this hand was decent, but we drew 0 lands and they locked our mana rock out. So it is what it is. There are no draws that turn it around after them strip mining both of our islands. Very disappointing. I'm like, technically, we're probably not supposed to concede here because we do have a Mana Crypt. But even if I hit Mana Crypt, these are all 3 or more mana. So it's like if I draw any lands, they just blow them up. Okay, hit Island. So now if I draw Mana Crypt, I go Island Mana Crypt Coalition Relic. They're a green deck, so at least in theory, they kill me moderately fast. Okay, that's... Mishra's Workshop is something too. Hold up. It's still so bold to be sitting on this Atraxa, but you know how I am. That's just what I do. We do have the Workshop for Coalition Relic as well, which I forgot about, which is like, sure, they strip mine it away now, but they don't strip mine the Coalition Relic, which is a huge deal. Coalition Relic is 2 mana next turn, so I use 2 Coalition Relic mana plus the Island mana to play Trinket Mage, which then gets Mana Crypt, and then I have 4 mana. Well, I guess 3 mana the turn after. Because I can't get 2 mana out of Coalition Relic 2 turns in a row. You get 2 mana out of Coalition Relic if you didn't use the Relic for mana the turn before. So because I'm not using it for mana now, I can put the charge counter on it and next turn get 2 mana out of it. That's not going to be the case the turn after next turn, because obviously I'm spending its mana at that point. I think we don't chump here, because if we chump the Chocobo next turn, we're stopping even more damage. Take a Mana Crypt and hope to never lose a coin flip. We don't play it this turn because there's nothing to play with it anyway. Malcolm casts things for free if I get to 4 chorus counters. Maybe we're gonna get to Malcolm and Atraxa. Maybe that's how we somehow get a comeback here. That would be insane if we managed to pull that off. Because Malcolm was very much an incredibly last-minute inclusion into this deck. There was not a single moment where I even considered that Malcolm can do that. Maybe they mill themselves out. Okay, well, I've got nothing to cast with the Mana Crypt again, so we just hope that Malcolm doesn't die. Oh, sweet Jesus. That's 4 chorus counters. Cast without paying its mana cost? Oh my god, Malcolm casted Atraxa for us under the Strip Mine lock. Oh my god, I can draw Flash Battlesphere. Flash is the instant. Battlesphere is the creature. Nexus will be coming for the artifact. Probably. Maybe Kappa Kenir, they are at 8. Go Kappa Cannoneer for the creature, or for the artifact, and then grab an untapped land because we're under a Strip Mine lock. Lay a land. And flash out Battlesphere. I mean, they couldn't block our other flyer all game long. If they don't have a way to deal with a flyer, then we just hit them for 9 in the sky now. We're definitely not dead. We got 4 chumpers now with all these mirror. And they're colorless too, so they can't get protection with Giver of Runes. Well, actually, Giver of Runes can give pro colorless, but then I can block with Trinket Mage. So we've got a blocker no matter what. They can't deal with the flyers. That's so crazy, Malcolm. The absolute MVP. And I even thought that maybe not discarding Atraxa was super wrong early that game. It was so correct to keep Atraxa for the off chance you get a Malcolm cast. That's nuts. What a crazy, crazy outcome. That is such a never concede game. Good lord. All right. That is 3-0 heading to game 4, somehow still undefeated. Sorry, that was game 4. That's 4-0 heading to game 5, somehow still undefeated. All right, this is a decent start. I think I get rid of the tap land here. This isn't really like doing our whole deck strat or anything, but just having a mana drain up from turn 1 onward is fine. Flitterwing Nuisance. I'm not going to mana drain a Flitterwing Nuisance. The longer we wait on the mana drain, the more likely we are to get a cheaper Mirror Battlesphere off of it. We have 4 mana next turn, so if we counter a 3 mana spell, we can play the Battlesphere, but they can't afford a 3 mana spell yet anyway. I mean, I could counter a 2 mana spell and then Mystic Confluence the Nuisance back to their hand and draw 2. That's not a terrible It's not a terrible play if they cast like a really good 2-mana spell here. And there's Malcolm. Malcolm would have been quite nice earlier to be able to flash out the Malcolm when we did not end up mana draining on turn 1. So we sit here, cross our fingers, and hope for a 3-drop. And if they do anything else, we just play Malcolm. Probably just activating Nuisance. If they activate Nuisance, I guess we play Malcolm and block. But the thing about Nuisance is they can wait to activate it until it's already unblocked, right? I'm just going to pass through. All right, here's Malcolm. Now we have Mystic Confluence up. If I attack with Malcolm, I'm milling 1. Flittering Nuisance works off of any of their creatures hitting us, so even if I block Nuisance and they remove the counter, because Channeler isn't blocked, they'll still draw the card. I guess they'll draw 2, though. I don't know. I'm just going to start working on Malcolm counters. Well, it's going to be pretty good if they don't have a Spell Pierce. All right. I'll take that. Tempo. Could have maybe let them keep the Dragon Rage Channeler to draw a card. The Nuisance I like bouncing for sure. But maybe it was better to draw a card than bounce the Channeler. Play Channeler, play Stock Up. Buff the Channeler up. Oh god, they got a Mox Ruby in there. Well, we can hard cast Battlesphere next turn now. What am I doing? Why did I think Dragon Rage Channeler can't block? That is not the can't block symbol. That was obviously a punt, but it happens. Must attack each turn if able and cannot block are such similar abilities. I get them mixed up half the time. That's rough. There's FOMO. do not have the mana to play Tezzeret pre-battle sphere. Tezzeret can untap 2 of my mana, but not 3 of my mana, so you just cast it. Alright, draw the Flittering Nuisance cards. We fail our Mana Crypt flip, which is super bad, because that means we're dead. That was a lethal flip, because Fear Missing Out can give another combat step to one of the flyers. So they hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We would have been at 9. We could have barely survived without the crypt doing that to us. But now we're definitely dead.
Everything you own.
Maybe they won't see the line.
My control is absolute.
We don't have anything we can draw off of the Triome that would save us. So I'm not worried about trying to do that. But I do have 1 copy of Flood Pit Shrowner if I didn't play Tezzeret, I guess. Okay, I did have 1 out of 26. No, 1 out of 25. Oh, they're just going to go for burn? Okay. Well, at least they need 2 burn spells then. Stoke the Flames. Get that Surveil. Mana Drain the Stoke. Pyroglyph, they did have double burn spell. Then it really didn't matter. But they didn't have to cast anything there. They could have just FOMO killed me to play around like double counter or something. But they had resiliency against so much there with Stoke plus Goyf. Alright, that was a bummer. Because I think if I played that perfectly and like didn't throw Malcolm away, it might have been winnable. Because Malcolm holds that nuisance off, we would have taken significantly less damage throughout just taking the channeler hits. Yeah, that was definitely self-imposed there. That is what I get for not reading Dragon's Rage Channeler and forgetting that it can block, it just has to attack. That is 4-1 heading into game number 6. Here's a very, very similar hand. What are the odds we mana drain something turn 1? I think they're low enough to hold up Consider instead, but watch me get blown out. Nope, they played an island. Scared of nothing. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Am I gonna just hardcast a Triplicate Titan on turn 3? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? If I top deck a land, I'm hardcasting Triplicate Titan turn 3. or if I mana drain anything, including a 1-mana card. But then I'm completely out of cards. That's the thing about playing all the fast mana. It's like, yeah, I've got all my mana, which means I have my entire hand on the board and nothing is left. Playing against blue-white. That is not the ideal color pair for trying to hardcast Triplicate Titan turn 3 against, because they could just have a counter spell. Portable Hole my Mox or something. I mean, that is annoying enough to mana drain a Portable Hole. And then no matter what I top deck, I have 9 mana next turn. Okay, well, I really would have had them in. I got a Mishra's Workshop too. Might as well play it so that I can not tap Coalition Relic, I guess. Please do not exile this. Please do not exile this. I'm empty-handed. I'm begging you. This is all I have. Infinite mana and a dream. No cards in hand. Okay. They didn't exile him. So we get the tokens. Which is lucky. These tokens work with Academy too. Look at this. I have nothing to spend this mana on, but I have so much mana. Probably juice up the flyer. Find another land. Find a Trinket Mage. At this point, that just grabs a Mana Crypts or a Chrome Mox, and that is not what I need. Mana is not what I need. It is a 2/2, I guess, but... Uh-oh. Demonic Tutor. Shatterstorm. Destroy all artifacts. Demonic Tutor for Strip Mine. Goodbye, Tolarian Academy. I actually wouldn't really care that much if they did that. It's probably Demonic Tutor for a board wipe and clear out all these tokens. And then it's my nothing versus their 5 cards in hand. Watch it be Demonic Tutor for an island. They were that stuck on mana. That's super castable. Play it post-combat in case they have an instant speed board wipe. I don't think I'm supposed to play this Battle Sphere when they just Demonic Tutored. Chromatic Star. That'll give them the double white if this is Wrath of God or Damnation. Well, not Damnation, but Damn has the Overload. What did they Demonic for? Demonic Tutor, play a land, pass, play a Chromatic Star, get a mana, die? Maybe they misclicked somewhere? I don't know. Okay, one triplicate Titan was enough to win, which was super, super lucky. They didn't have exile removal for that. If they had exile removal, that would have been a way different game. Just sit there losing till we play a battle sphere and then hope the battle sphere is enough. They still had all these cards. I mean, if they couldn't deal with these, maybe battle sphere. I don't know. I don't know. Crazy. That is 5-1 heading into game number 7. Okay. 4 mana on turn 1 so I can play and activate Bankbuster immediately. I am heavily relying on Reckoner Bankbuster here and hoping to lose no mana crypt coin flips because I'm flipping every turn. Oh god, and I'm against the 2-power creature turn 1? We gamble, baby. This seems like a good matchup for our opponent, though. To have the aggro deck against the turn 1 mana crypts. Oh no, they're black-red too? They're Rakdos? I'm just gonna get bolted after my crypt shoots me for 1,000,000. I'm activating Bankbuster over playing Consider because we're trying to get to the token that Bankbuster makes as quickly as possible, so we can also block with Bankbuster. Good coin flip on Mana Crypt, you love to see it. We even have Mystic Confluence mana up already. So we just pass. Hope they cast something main phase 1, counter it, bounce Cecil, draw a card. And just take the damage if they don't play anything. Pretty important to counter something if they do main phase 2. I mean, if they just go end step, I'm just drawing cards again. You can cast an instant if you want. Draw Nettle Cyst. Upheaval. I don't want to play it immediately, but I do think it's really good to have that option so that I don't kill myself with a mana crypt. Oh, I might be upheavaling if I can Tolarian Academy. Good grief. I love this deck. Find a flash. Fable the Mirror Breaker for our opponent. And then Cecil. They don't have any mana rocks, so I think it's just upheaval time, honestly. Although I would be replaying the Mana Crypt, which is something to consider. I feel like we can outrace them if I upheaval them. No, when they replay the Cecil and that trades with the Cyst token. They don't upheaval yet. It's mana drain, okay. So it's soon enough probably going to be Upheaval, replay everything but Mana Crypt. And we have so much mana here. I can allow that if I'm going to Upheaval it. Does hit a land for turn. I can allow that too. Could have a mana drain up post Upheaval, I think. Okay. Oh my god, I have 8 mana after this? So this 100% works. Just do everything with floating mana, Jesus. To shoot for 1 to play this preordain. Probably not worth it. Discard the Mana Crypt. Get that crypt out of here. Scares me. There was an argument for shooting myself with the Talisman to preordain there just to see if I get like Atraxa for flash. But I'm just gonna keep this life total. Ooh, Tezzeret. Tezzy Wezzy. Workshop, Chrome Mox. Don't really care about either. And that is just a land I also don't care about. Okay, there's the concession from our opponent. They are over our utter nonsense, which is absolutely fair enough. We are now 6-1, heading to the final battle with 2 rounds in the chamber. I like casting Upheaval. This is a 2-lander, 2-land 6-card hand. Triome, you're a tapped land. Untapped land would get the Cannoneer there. Actually, Nexus of Becoming's better than Cannoneer. We play the Nexus to cheat out the Cannoneer. It'll be 1 power toughness smaller, but then we're drawing a card every turn. Yeah, I did say we might get punished for running tap lands. That was 100% an instance where we got punished for running tap lands. Like, if they then had a Shatter to blow up one of these mana rocks, we would have taken like a very winning game and turn it into a very losing game because we ran a tap land. Luckily, they didn't blow up any rocks, so we still just do that next turn. We've got the Cannoneer down and the Nexus of Becoming. So still a very explosive start. There's the Orcish Bowmasters. That is going to shoot us every time the Nexus triggers, which is something. Smuggler's Copter's poking us as well. They are doing stuff and things. Hopefully I get to mana drain something relatively expensive. Oh, Lord have mercy. Reanimate Atraxa. Can't afford this upheaval, so I'm probably just dead to that, actually. They can grief me too. They drew grief off Atraxa to get rid of the upheaval anyway. Alright, well. I mean, fair enough. We did some pretty explosive things, but they just came right back at it with even crazier. Reanimate on Atraxa is devastating. Still might have one or two cards that win. Like if we hit the Mirror Battlesphere or something, it's a lot of triggers on the Kappa Cannoneer just immediately. Coalition Relic is not that. And Traxa with the 7 life-linking power just completely outraces anything we're doing. They hit us for 10 in the sky. We go to 5. I guess I was wrong. Maybe it did really matter that it was the tap land here. Because come to think of it, like if we did get the... If we got the Cannoneer down just one turn earlier, we would have had mana drain up for the Reanimate at that point. Instead of being tapped out, because we would have done that stuff a turn sooner. So it did actually genuinely lose us the game that we were running a tap land here. Shame. Trigger that so that if I also hit Battlesphere, we get all those triggers. Did not. We did. That is 6 and 2. We are going to need that second shot to win this draft, get a full 7-win run. We are 6 and 2 heading into the final boss. This will be the last game of Magic for today's video, whether we win or lose. All right, here we are on the play for the final game of Magic. This is such an awkward hand because I don't have a cheap enough artifact to play for Tolarian Academy, meaning the Academy doesn't give me any mana. So I play an island, and if I don't draw any other land, I'm stuck. It's a 1-lander until I hit my second land to play these 2-mana artifacts, and then Academy's active. Oh, any of my 0-mana artifacts or lands are great draws. Chrome Mox, Mana Crypt, Mox Diamond, 13 lands, 16 major draws. We also have Consider and Preordain, 17, 18 out of 33. Coin flip it up. 18... No, what, 16 out of 33? 18 out of 30? I don't remember. I gotta check the math again. 3 0-mana artifacts, plus 13 lands is 16, plus Consider and Preordain. There are 18 out of 33. So coin flip weighted slightly in our favor. That's going to decide the outcome of this draft. We win the coin flip. We're unstoppable. We're actually unstoppable. I do not think I'm holding up mana drain this turn but I'm certainly holding it up next turn. Yeah, let's just set up the Tolarian Academy here. That way next turn I just go Academy, Nettle Cyst, and hold up Mana Drain. If I don't cast Mana Drain, we draw a card off Bankbuster, and that is how we get the fuel that we need to not care about the fact that we dumped our entire hand on the board. Opponent plays a Talisman. We draw a Trinket Mage. That is interesting. I could go Trinket Mage Crypt and use Crypt and Talisman to play the Nettle Cyst then. I could have also tapped that like slightly differently. I have to tap this to draw the card. I'd rather draw the card than hit them for 4 then. Can't draw the card if that's tapped. It's a Tezzeret with Grim Monolith. No more artifacts to play. Okay. Hit for Bajillion, play Tezzeret. Untap Grim Monolith, probably. Mana drain a Wandering Emperor. Hit for 7. And they're over it. That is another trophy run in the Powered Cube. We got there with Boros the first time around, and now we got there with this sick artifacts deck. I am so happy with this draft. I mean, we pack one, pick one to Tolarian Academy, and I crossed my fingers and really hoped we could do the artifact thing, and we really did it. This was a sweet one. We had a turn 3 triplicate Titan. We had a lot of insane Mana Crypt games. We had like Tezzeret, Mana Crypt, early Ugin in one of those games, like turn 3 Ugin or something like that. Nutty stuff. Nexus of Becoming was a huge card in this deck because we do really like, when we have that fast mana and we get one of those hands that kind of cheats the whole hand out, you're going to run out of cards really quickly. So the drawing extra cards every single turn was huge stuff. Any massive underperformers? I probably should have been playing all these tap lands. These 2 tap lands for the Atraxa, because like we never got close to hard casting Atraxa. But I will say I'm happy I ran the Atraxa, because we did have the flash for her, and we won a game off of Malcolm spitting out the Atraxa. Malcolm, certainly the biggest overperformer of the draft. Everything else did great, but like it was stuff we were expecting to do great. Malcolm was a card that was kind of just a last minute inclusion that was like, whatever, it's on color, sure, we can exile it to the Chrome Mox, or we could just flash it in and trade off with something. No, getting the 4 chorus counters mattered. We cast a free Atraxa in a game that looked unwinnable otherwise, so huge work from Malcolm. Beautiful. That doesn't come up super often because usually Malcolm dies a lot before that, but he really did his thing there. So that's a huge overperformer to Malcolm. Honestly, a bit of an overperformer to the whole deck. These are cards that I enjoy playing with a lot, but I still found like interactions I hadn't seen before that I didn't realize were like so immensely powerful with some of these cards, which was sweet. Like Nexus of Becoming with the Kappa Cannoneer, the fact that it's pretty much just as big. It's a 3/3 instead of a 4/4, so cheating that out was sweet. The Nexus with the Battle Sphere was sweet. So Nexus had some great combos. Tezzeret with Mana Crypt. I mean, I knew untapping Mana Rocks was absurd with Tezzeret, but the fact that you play Tezzeret, tutor your Mana Crypt, get that mana back immediately, and then next turn you get 4 mana out of the crypt when you have Tezzeret on board. That was absurd. Again, it's like I knew they were good together, but I didn't realize that it's like it's ramping them and tutoring them. Like, it's absolutely absurd. So, yeah, overall, lots of great stuff today. Very fun draft, and cannot be unhappy with a full trophy run maximum prize out for today's video. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you want to see some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.